mate, give me so you reached out, obviously, you reached out on Boxer and you had a whole bunch of the questions. That's like, give me a quick 30-second rundown of how it all happened with like the new guys are like, he's a good guy. You're looking for the right fit and all those type of stuff. Is that a,
yeah. So yeah, long story short, he's known of me for a while through LinkedIn. He's done some intern experience at a TAC footy club close to my home. Okay. And one of his mentors there used to work with me. So he sort of knew me through that way. Yep. And he just graduated, I think just a couple months ago. And he's interested in an exercise physiology position somewhere close to home. So he's about, I don't know, 5-10 Ks away from me.
So all the basics sort of are lining up in that type of scenario.
Yeah, I sort of know him. I've seen his name. He knows me. So there's that sort of connection so far.
Have you had much of a chat with him so far?
Yeah, we actually had a Zoom last week. More so just to sort of officially introduce myself properly and just get to know a little bit more about him.
So you're following through, making sure it's the right fit, the right person, etc., going through all of the values, the cultural alignments and that type of stuff first. So that's good. We can tick those.
Yep.
Obviously, you reached out in regards to the questions about hours, pay rates, leave, sick leave, super, CPD, and those type of things. So let me ask this. Ultimately, at the end of the day, are you looking at doing this as a contracting situation or as an employment situation? That's the first decision you need to probably make.
Yeah. Look, from other people I've spoken to in the tribe, like Scotty said, mate, get them on a salary sort of setup if you can, if you're in the position to. And then I think back to sort of
100 going employment is going to be much better than contracting, mate.
Yeah. And
particularly with the fact if you're going to be looking to do that 3 months and that tour around Australia and that in a couple of months, the guy's going to be absolute flat stick. So I would probably say, to you straight away, like it's a no-brainer to go employment, but it also is that discussion around how many hours. I would be saying, don't look at, and I mean, you haven't spoken about hours, like as in exact hours, but if you're thinking 15, 20, 25, I'd be saying, screw that. We're going to go straight to a full-time employment situation, which scares a lot of people, but honestly, I can promise you and look you in the eye and say this, every single time I've done this myself and with any client, like we've done this literally, I don't know, I'm going to make something up. I could say dozens or hundreds, either way, it's both probably close to the mark, but we've done that many times where we've taken someone going, oh, I want to bring on someone part-time, but we say, no, do it this way. And this is why. And every single time, 100% hand on heart, we have within the first sort of 4 to 6 weeks of rolling this process, on week 1 of that person starting, we've always broken even.
Yep.
Right. So if we can do that in some really precarious situations, with the situation you're in with numbers and clients, I have no doubt of being able to do that this time around as well. So I would strongly suggest we go straight to the employment side of things. We look at a 38-hour full-time employment scenario. And it works best with you and the team and the culture and all of those things as well, as to we're valuing him and who he is. We see this as a long-term scenario. We're not money focused and transactional focused to just do the following and we want a contractor and then we've got to sit there and start talking percentages or per client and all that rubbish. At the end of the day, if this is who you are and you've got the intent of your integrity in place for what you say and what we do, then employment's the only real way of doing it. It's like you are an important part of our team. You are a part of the team, not you're someone else with a different entity and you send an invoice. And no, I'm sorry, but that just it's not congruent for where you're at with this. Okay.
Yeah. And that's how I started for my first job. And I sort of regretted it. Like I would have much preferred having a team, which I wasn't a contractor, with. And I would have loved to have the opportunity to have that sort of that culture or that support. So if I can create that by offering him full-time employment and not the contractor style, that sort of aligns with my values as well.
Perfect. So it's going to be employment. It's going to be 38 hours. Obviously then in regards to sick leave, annual leave and all that, we're just going to follow through with legislative requirements. That also answers your question in regards to super, and he wanted to know whether he'd pay his own super. Well, no, because, as an employee, we're going to do that. We're going to factor that in. We have that done inside zero and single touch payroll and all those type of things will get done and taken care of. If you
And
need
is that through like that? So that needs to be done through my accountant, or is that something that I would set up completely? Things like super.
If you know how to do it, it's simple enough to do.
Okay.
I can help you with it, or we just get your bookkeeper or accountant to do it. To set up a new person inside payroll of Xero and set up someone's super, mate, it's a 3 or 4 minute job.
Okay.
So really, really simply, I could talk you through it, or we can just get the VA to do it. Or if you want to make sure that you've just got it done in the right way, you can get your bookkeeper or accountant to quickly do it, and you just pass over the personal details about their file, their bank details, their super details, and any bookkeeper is going to do it in under 5 minutes, right? So even if they're charging you per minute or something like that, it's going to cost you $5 or $10 to get it done. So don't stress about that, all right? But we'll make sure that happens. And on the membership side there, we do have that like 24-page onboarding document, all right? So make sure, and I know that you've started that last week, which is good with Freddie, and we've got that all of yours and brandings and that.
Cool.
Mark all of that up, get that done, because literally that takes you through step by step what needs to be done before. Like here's the personal details, bank details, super, and all these, the insurances and etc. And just follow through. But print that out, ring bind it, and then all of a sudden you've now got that onboarding document, which is perfect for bringing on anyone.
Perfect. Yep. No, Freddie's done that for me, which is all good to go now.
Perfect. You've got those 12 or 14 things that you have to do before they start. And then we've got that one pager of here's what you want to do on the first day.
Yeah.
And then we've got the page with here's what we want to take care of in the first week, in the first month, etc. So it's just step by step. We can't get it wrong that way. And it's absolutely kick-ass. So that's all the onboarding side of things.
Jace, in terms of pay, these are the questions that he's asked me, by the way.
That's all right. I've got you just here on my iPad beside me. Your through that he sent through. So
are we looking at like an award rate that's like for a new grad? Is that where to start them off, or do you?
Look, it's a great question.
Have like a process?
Mate,
6 months from now, this is where, or 1 year we review. How does he might ask me these things, so I'm not exactly sure how.
No, that's okay. Look, I always like to do it this way. I've never paid someone just the award, right? Okay. I've always paid above the award, and I think that's fair and reasonable. The award's there, and if you're in a public hospital, yes, you do your pay review once a year, your annual review, and then you turn around and you say, oh, yes, now I do that. And the boss says this, and blah, blah, blah. So now you're level 2.3. So now you go up a pay grade. And it's like, it's just transactional. It's clunky. That's not what a team does. Yeah. Like, to be completely honest with you, and I say this all the time with the tribe and that about things, like you should never be in a situation where you do a pay review as an annual review.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Like if you're running a business and that's how you do it, and someone has their annual review type process, it can be automated and reminders and all that. I don't care. It's clunky. It's transactional. It means that you're running a business, not as a team and cohesive. It's not about, the right team and culture and values and, helping people grow personally and professionally. You're running a business like you're a government employee, right? Like it's like every year you do this in the health system and etc. And that's safeguarded, blue collar, left wing, labor, unions, etc. That's safeguarded. So there's no criticisms to that. It's just that's how it's always been, right? I sort of go, hey, you know what? You should be able to put a development plan in place, and this goes to the CPD stuff as well.
Yeah,
where you should be proactively sitting down and working out what's ahead in the next 6 to 12 weeks. So in the next 3 months, what is the business doing for you, right? And this is why I think it's really important to have those one-on-one meetings every week, 15 minutes with every team member. We've got the focus sheets there, so you know exactly what to say, what to do, how to ask it. Yep. So it keeps in line with the plan that you put together for each person.
Yep.
It grows them personally and professionally. It keeps them in line with their KPIs and the team's KPIs, but it's focused on what are the avenues and what are the most important, like what's the one thing we need to focus on this week. But that's not based on a KPI, it's based on the KPA.
Yeah.
Because having them focused on the activity and doing more of the activity that drives the result is important. You can't just look at a scoreboard as a KPI and then measure someone against it.
Yeah.
Like, did you win or lose? Oh shit. Like you've got to, how many tackles did they miss? How many run meters did they have? How many marks did they take? They're the KPAs that drive the result of winning the football game, for instance, right?
Yep. Yep.
Knowing you're an AFL man, pity about being an Essendon supporter. I can see in the background, but that's okay. So okay. I would be, I'd be looking at that way. We're going to do it. I think you should be doing a full-time salary. We'll do it above award. And when you have the right person with the right, alignment with your cultural ideals, your points of culture and things like that, and you're moving forward and you started off in the right way with this onboarding process, you'll get into a situation where they are switched on. They know who you are, what you're doing. They're part of the team. They will always be doing more than what someone will if you bring them in saying, see more clients, make more money, get more percentage. Yep.
And that's how I was sort of operating when I had my first job with another company.
Yeah.
And
One of the tips that I always find is that when you're having these conversations is, you've already had a conversation with him, you've gone through all the cultural stuff. The next part of this is to continue on that line, as in you're not going in saying, hey, we're going to talk money now and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
That has to come into the equation. But
yep.
I find it works really well in this situation to actually, you've got to flag the elephant in the room. As in, you've got to talk about money and salaries. Right? I don't know about you. All I'll ask you now, are you comfortable with that? Do you love talking money and finance to people? You just answered it right then. You had to go, that's no, right?
Yeah. Look, no.
Yeah. None of us do. I don't. Like, let's be honest about it. Does it really feel good to sit back and say, I think you're worth X amount of dollars per year? That's the value. It's like, no one likes those conversations, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, is that one of the big avenues for doing this is we want to make sure that we deal with the money type question in the right way. Okay. And so how we do it is simply, I think it has to be, you put this in place so that you flag the elephant in the room, discuss it for what it is, but be open and honest about that scenario too. So let's say you and I are doing it now and let's role play it a bit, right? I would literally be chatting with you. We'd go through all these avenues. We talk about CPD. We talk about the process of how we work our meetings and where the business is going, what the role would look like. We go through everything, right? And normally finances is sort of the last part of it. And it should be too, because at the end of the day, it's not what people make a decision of unless they're not engaged with all the other stuff, right?
Sure.
And I just literally turn around and be saying, like, I literally do it this way, Matty. I turn around and I'll say, hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.